Thailand may just be the easiest country in the world to travel for the first time. I mean, the food is unreal, the weather's incredible, the people are amazing, it's beautiful and affordable, and getting around is way simpler than you may think. But, and this is important, there are a handful of things that catch almost every first-time visitor off guard, and they can genuinely change your trip if you're not ready for them. So in this video, I am going to walk you through everything you actually need to know. From visas and when to visit to transport, scams, food, and the things nobody really tells you. Let's get into it. Visas and entry. Let's start with the boring but important stuff. For most Western passports, so that's USA, UK, Australia, and Europe, Thailand offers a 60-day visa exemption on arrival. There's no visa application needed. You just arrive, you go through passport control, get stamped, and you're in. Now, if you want to stay longer than the 60 days, there is a 30-day extension that you can do, and that is at a small fee. Now, if you want to double check the visa requirements before you leave, there's only one website I use. It's called Smart Traveller. It's run by the Australian government, so the information on there is legit. It's not some company trying to get you to apply for a visa you don't need and scam you in the process. Have it linked below for you. Honestly, Thailand has one of the most painless entry systems you'll ever experience. Just a couple of arrival tips for you. There are 2 airports in Bangkok, so just make sure if you have arranged an airport transfer, it is to the correct airport. And when you are departing, make sure you are going to the correct airport. One other thing to keep in mind is that in my experience, entry into Thailand is pretty seamless and relatively quick, but Bangkok airport is huge and it is very popular, so you may find that there are longer queues. For me, it's only ever taken around 15 to 20 minutes to get through passport control. When to visit? Timing matters more than people realize when it comes to planning a trip to Thailand. November to April is the perfect weather. Sunny, dry, and perfect for the islands. But the thing is, it's also peak season, so you can expect to encounter more people and higher prices for things like accommodation. May and October are your sweet spot. Fewer crowds, better prices, and still decent weather. Now, June to September is the wet season. The rain isn't going to destroy your holiday, but it is going to impact things like visiting the islands, for example. Anything involving a boat can get a little shaky, especially if you get seasick. Now, one thing most people don't realize about Thailand is different coastlines actually have different weather patterns. So it can be beautiful, sunny, blue skies in Phuket, but absolutely pouring down rain in Koh Samui, which literally happened to me. And if you ever get the chance to visit Thailand in April, you will experience something called Songkran. Just make sure you pack a raincoat. Where to go? I have been to Thailand many times, so this is my special subject. You have to visit Bangkok, and the truth is, the first time I visited, I hated it. It was incredibly crowded, it was obscenely hot, and it was just another big city. But that's because I was getting my itinerary wrong. If you could, you would spend maybe 3 to 4 days in Bangkok, and you would explore some of the really cool neighborhoods, get out to the markets, try some of the street food, and dig deeper into the city, not just hit the big tourist spots. But if you only had 2 days, you could make it work. Now, Chiang Mai is my favorite place in Thailand. I absolutely love it. Think mountains, markets, incredible, organic, healthy, whole foods. It just has an artisanal, community, health-focused vibe to it that I really enjoy, and the temples are incredible. Now let's talk about the islands. If you want relaxation, go to Koh Lanta or Koh Yanoi. If you want a party, you go straight to Koh Phangan or Koh Tao. And if you want a mix of both, you go to Koh Samui. And Phuket, well, it depends where you stay. There is the notorious party spots around Patong Beach. That's not my vibe. I was just there and I stayed in a completely different part that I had never experienced before, and honestly, I felt like I was in the Mediterranean. It was incredible. But my favorite island spot in all of Thailand has to be Koh Tao. You do have to catch a ferry there, but I spent a couple of weeks there a few years ago learning to scuba dive, and it was just incredible. The sunsets are magnificent, and even though it has a party atmosphere, I'm not a party girl and I still had an incredible time. That and my newfound favorite spot in Phuket are my favorite. Now, if you are tight on time, you want to experience the coastline, but you don't have the time or resources to fly to somewhere like Phuket or Koh Samui, Hua Hin and Pattaya are two really great coastal options. I was just in both of those places. They're a little over 2 hours drive from Bangkok, and then you are there on the beachfront. You can see the sunrise or the sunset depending on which one you're at, and honestly, they were both beautiful. I have filmed YouTube episodes for all of those destinations. I'll have them all linked in the video description for you, and I have guides on my website, travelforphoebe.com. Click through, check it out, get all the inspiration you need to plan your perfect itinerary. Cost and budget. Thailand is genuinely one of the best value destinations in the world. You can go there with a small budget or a totally non-existent budget or anything in between and have an incredible time. I love that it is so accessible to people, and it's one of the reasons I keep going back. A budget traveler could expect to spend around 30 to 50 Australian dollars a day. Mid-range comfort, you're looking at around 80 to 150 Australian dollars a day. And I mean, all out luxury can start from $200 a day. It is incredibly accessible. I mean, street food is just a couple of dollars. Activities booked on platforms like Klook, for example, are really well priced. And you can use my discount code TRAVELFORPHOEBE to get even more off. Grab rides and transport are extremely affordable. Even the domestic flights are well priced. It is one of those places where your money just goes a long way. And I love that because then there's no guilt. You're not worried doing this mental math, like how many days did I have to work to afford to pay for this meal? You can just show up, and whatever amount of money you have, you can have an incredible time and you can eat amazing food. Cash versus cards. Okay, Thailand is still very much cash based. You're going to need cash for things like street food, markets, tuk-tuks, and small shops. Now, ATMs are everywhere, so you won't have a problem finding one. It's just that they do charge high fees. So I recommend withdrawing larger amounts less often. Of course, you can tap your bank card in hotels, larger restaurants, and bigger shops. And travel cards like Wise, for example, can save you on fees. Internet and eSIMs. The good news is everything works in Thailand. Yay! You won't need a VPN for things like Google, YouTube, or Instagram. That said, I always use a VPN when I travel anyway on my phone and my laptop just to protect myself. I mean, I work online. If my stuff gets hacked, it's a serious life-altering problem for me. Now, you can get a local SIM card when you arrive into Thailand. There are going to be kiosks set up at the airport. I personally never do that. I don't like handing my passport over to a stranger at an airport kiosk who then takes a photo of it and does whatever they want with that. No. I prefer to get my eSIM sorted before I travel. I'll have a QR code on screen right now. This is the one I always use when I travel. And what I usually do is get one for all of Southeast Asia, so I don't have to buy them individually. As soon as I land, I just put my phone off airplane mode, it connects, and I am good to go right away. For me, it just takes a big stress out of travel. I feel connected and I feel safe. Essential apps. These are going to make your trip significantly easier. Grab is your go-to app for transport. This one is non-negotiable. Make sure you have it downloaded, installed, and connected to your bank card before you even leave home. You can catch Grab car or Grab bike. Obviously, Grab bike is cheaper, but you may not feel comfortable on the back of a bike, so just go with Grab car. And because all the payments run through the app, no money changes hands, which means you don't have to worry about being scammed. Google Maps is the OG for navigating. It works perfectly and reliably in Thailand. Google Translate. I've never had to use Google Translate in Thailand, but I feel like you should have it just in case. WhatsApp is absolutely essential. This is your #1 communication app. It's going to allow you to connect with your hotel, your guides, your drivers, and everybody else in between. Agoda is the app I use to book my hotels when I'm in Thailand. I just find it really easy, simple, and I get good discounts through the app as well. Klook is your go-to for all of your tours and tickets and even your transfers. I use them for my airport transfers and my transfers between cities. So when I was going from Bangkok to Pattaya, Bangkok to Hua Hin, Klook is how I booked that transfer. And again, all the payments go through the app, so it's really seamless. You don't have to worry about cash and you don't have to worry about getting scammed. Make sure you have all of those downloaded and ready to go before you leave home. Language. You do not need to learn Thai before you visit Thailand because English is so widely spoken. But that said, I would just recommend that you learn a few key phrases. The locals love it and it goes a really long way to just showing some love for their culture and, you know, being a cool visitor while you're in somebody else's country. Getting around. Transport in Thailand is super easy once you know how it works. In Bangkok, you can use the BTS SkyTrain or the MRT. It is easy to navigate, fast and cheap. For everything else, just use Grab. It is so easy and affordable. Now, tuk-tuks are incredibly fun and you absolutely must catch a tuk-tuk at least once while you're in Thailand for the experience. Just make sure you negotiate the price before you get in because that is a scammer's paradise. Now, between cities, you can catch trains, like a train from Bangkok to Chiang Mai, but honestly, domestic flights are easy and cheap. But if you can, I recommend doing a sleeper train at least once. It is such a fun experience. And if you are moving between cities like Bangkok to Hua Hin, for example, Bangkok to Pattaya, just go ahead and book yourself a private transfer. I booked mine on Klook and it's super straightforward. Culture and safety. In my experience, Thailand is a really safe place to visit, but like any country that you go to, you need to be mindful. I think for me, it's been nothing but safe because I don't drink, I don't go out and party, so I don't get into that kind of trouble. If you are there to have a fun time, love that for you. Just be very switched on and very safe because you can get into trouble. Culture in Thailand really matters. If you are planning on visiting any temples at all, you're going to need a temple outfit. So that means your shoulders, your midriff, and your knees need to be covered. That can be as simple as just carrying 2 sarongs with you and wrapping up because it does get extremely hot. So you don't want to be wearing jeans and a long sleeve t-shirt all day. I prefer to have something I can just put on and take back off once I'm outside the temple. As an Australian, this one is totally fine for me, but as an American, you might freak out. You'll need to take your shoes off quite a lot. It is a part of Thai culture, even at some restaurants, definitely at temples, that you take your shoes off. So if you get funny about bare feet, I'm sorry in advance. And of course, it's really important to be respectful around the monks. For me, this looks like absolutely no touching, and I try to keep a meter or 2 between us just to give some space and respect. Scams. I don't think I have ever been scammed in Thailand, except maybe for overpaying for a tuk-tuk once or twice. But there are scams that happen, and if you know about them, they're super easy to avoid. If you get offered a tuk-tuk hidden gems tour, avoid it. If you get told that temple is closed, I'll take you somewhere else, scam. If somebody hires a jet ski to you, make sure you film that thing. Otherwise, when you return it, all of a sudden there'll be all this damage and you'll be up for the costs. Scam. And of course, transport. You just have to be so mindful of tuk-tuks or airport taxi touts standing outside Bangkok airport, for example. Always make sure that you have your airport transfer pre-booked with Klook or that you go with Grab. Honestly, I do it with Klook because I think it's like 20 to 30 Australian dollars to have a private transfer with a person standing there with my name on a sign. For that amount of money, I'm doing that every time. Food. The food in Thailand is incredible. Now, street food is absolutely king, and you can and should try as much street food as possible. I always like to go with a guided tour. I just find that takes me to the best places. I know everything that I'm eating is going to be clean, safe, and fresh, and it just helps me try more because Thai food is so much more than just pad Thai and sticky rice. And hey, not judging. All I eat is pad Thai and sticky rice. But I need to push myself to try more food, and it is an overwhelming, huge list of things in Thailand. So having a guide to help you navigate that is a really good idea. I recommend doing some kind of a street food tour, but you can absolutely just walk around and try things as you go. Just make sure that if you are trying street food, things are prepared fresh and there is a high turnover rate. A friend of mine says, if it's moving, we're grooving. That means if the food is cooked fresh and it's being turned over really quickly, it's good to eat. But the food scene isn't just street food. There is incredible Michelin food, fine dining experiences, especially in Bangkok. You can have some incredible degustations, and I recommend you do. There are so many very, very talented chefs in Thailand. doing incredible things in the fine dining scene. And the truth is, it'll cost you a fraction of the price of what it would in somewhere like Australia or the US. And of course, I just steer clear of the tap water. I buy big bottles of bottled water. You are always loaded up with bottled water when you go to your hotel. Just make sure that's what you're drinking and brushing your teeth with. What to pack? I recommend packing light when you go to Thailand because the shopping is amazing and you're going to want to buy all this stuff, and if your suitcase can't fit it, you're going to be so sad. Now, in terms of what to actually wear, I pretty much just wear this because the weather is hot. So I'm usually wearing shorts and a t-shirt of some kind. It's just really important that the fabrics are breathable. I've started wearing a lot of tops from Lululemon when I travel now because of that. You can wear them multiple times, the fabrics are light and breathable, and in a climate like Indonesia or Thailand, that is essential. But I do pack a couple of nice dresses as well and some chunky sandals just so I can dress up a little bit. But there's no need to pack things like jeans, jumpers, long pants, heavy cotton t-shirts, anything like that. Just think light, breathable, comfortable, functional. Of course, you're going to need your swimwear, a hat, something to pull over the top of your swimwear once you're done on a boat tour, for example. You definitely need sunscreen and mosquito repellent, cameras, if you have any kind of waterproof bags, if you're going to the islands, that is going to come in very handy. And of course, I always travel with a little medicine bag that just has some essential medications in there, just in case I get some really bad sinus or something like that late at night and can't get access to help. And I don't know where else to put this in this video, so we'll put it here. Do not leave home without getting travel insurance. Make direct eye contact with me. Make direct eye contact with me. You need travel insurance. You have to have it, okay? Do not leave home, do not travel anywhere without it. I always see these stories of travelers being stranded if the unexpected and the worst happens to them, and it breaks my heart, but it's also avoidable. So please make sure that you get travel insurance. It's one of those things that if you don't need it, cool, but when you do need it, you will be so glad that you have it. And I have had a few situations in my life where I've really needed it, and not having to worry about the cost of anything and being able to do whatever I needed to do to get to a hospital or get home, it is worth every cent. Please get travel insurance. Solo versus guided travel. Thailand is made for solo travel. It is so easy to navigate. But I am mindful that I'm a very experienced traveler. So if it is your first time traveling solo, even just your first time visiting Thailand, having a guide is a great idea. You might want to do a guided multi-day group tour. That would be really fun if you didn't want to be alone or you just wanted somebody to take the stress away from you. But I also recommend having a guide in some of the cities, especially Bangkok, and especially if it's your first time. Otherwise, you'll mess up like I did and probably end up hating it. Now, I only ever use one company when I go to Thailand. They are called Absolutely Fantastic, and they are absolutely fantastic. If you've watched this channel for any length of time, you will have seen Nam and Suri in my content before. I adore the both of them. I always see Suri in Chiang Mai, and Nam is my gal when I go to Bangkok. I just feel like having a guide in some of these cities helps you cover ground a lot faster. It really helps with the interaction with the locals. You're able to communicate with so many more people. They take care of everything, you know, your tickets, all of this stuff, so you're never getting scammed, and you're able to try so much more food. I mean, that alone is absolutely worth it. So yeah, if you're a solo travel aficionado like me, definitely solo travel it. If you want a really great testing ground to explore solo travel, Thailand is the place to do it. But if you want to do something a little more organized and feel a little more contained, definitely go with a pre-organized multi-day group tour. You would have an incredible time. All right, it is time for Phoebe's rapid fire exclusive hidden gem bonus tips. Wow, the vlog goes crazy. YouTube's a light. 7-Eleven. Yeah, that's where we're starting with this thing. 7-Eleven in Thailand is elite. You could eat every day, all day at 7-Eleven and be quite happy. Highlights include the chocolate lava cake. If you want to taste the moon, Absolutely try their Thai energy drinks. Those things are not FDA approved. The toasties are meant to be incredible. I've never had them. There's like a chocolate banana muffin, which I also absolutely love. And then just everything, the drinks, the vitamins, the makeup, like all of it is incredible. Make sure you dedicate a couple of hours to exploring all the 7-Elevens. Now, my life hack for you is before you go home, get all of your laundry done. So take absolutely everything in there that's dirty, even if it's like questionable, whatever, take it all because it's so cheap. Get somebody to do it for you and it will come back to you washed, folded, clean, smelling amazing. You put it straight in your suitcase, you go home, what do? Straight out of the suitcase, back into your cupboards. Don't overplan your trip in Thailand. Make sure you leave at least a little room for spontaneity because there are so many beautiful things to explore. If you have a jam-packed itinerary, I think you're going to regret it. If you are a coffee-obsessed person, you are going to love Thailand. The coffee and cafe culture is elite, especially in places like Chiang Mai, and they do some really cool things with coffee there. That was the first time I ever had a coffee that was like espresso, orange juice, and soda. Those three things should not go together, but guess what? In Thailand, they absolutely do. Make sure you are hydrating constantly and carry a hat or something similar with you. You may even need to get a portable fan. It can get extremely hot in Thailand, especially in Bangkok. It can get, I'm pretty sure, right up to 40 degrees. And if you are out sightseeing in the middle of the day trying to visit the Grand Palace, for example, you are going to melt and then you are going to have a meltdown. And I mean, it is dangerously like heat stroke hot. I would actually recommend that you time your sightseeing around the middle of the day. So either go out in the morning and see some things and then come back to your hotel, rest, relax, or maybe go to a mall to escape the heat and then go back out in the afternoon once it cools down a little bit. I have been traveling Thailand for a very long time. So I have loads of YouTube videos for you to watch, guides to all of the places that I've mentioned in this episode. And I also have so many resources on my website, travelforphoebe.com. So make sure you head to the video description. You're going to find so many links to every resource that you could possibly need in there. Watch all the videos and of course, pop any questions that you have in the comments below and either myself or another amazing member of this community will do their best to answer that for you. But if you're watching this and you are wondering, should I visit Thailand? This is your sign to do it. Absolutely, 1,000 times yes, you are going to love it. All right, you guys, and with that, that brings this week's episode to a close. I really hope you've enjoyed it and that it's been helpful. Now, if you don't already, be sure to subscribe right now so you never miss a single episode and say hello in the comments below. I hope you have a great weekend ahead and I will see you with a brand new episode next week. Love ya.